Thank you, Gopal, for this introduction. And as you have very rightly pointed out, this will be the first uh, high-level meeting of the Quad, where the heads of the state, rather the word terminology heads of the state will not go very well with other countries, especially India, but the prime ministers and the president of US will all be meeting as far as the Quad is concerned. So it is we are into 2021. So if you go back a little bit, before we understand what the Quad is and what the Quad should be doing in 2021, we should actually have a background of how the Quad started and what are the basic inputs that we need to take into consideration when we want to speak about India's agenda in 2021. As we all know, the progress of Quad, which began in 2007, has been sort of a slow, to say the least of it. It was slow, but it was a steady one. I would rather put it the one can say that the progress was slow, but it was steady. Uh, it's almost 2007 to 2021 now. After actually initially it had some speed, it picked up some speed, but then it lost the inertia in between and practically became dormant for almost 10 years. It was revived only in 2017 as Quad 2.0. So actually the Quad began as a temporary and ad hoc platform after the tragic tsunami of 2004, December 2004. The foreign secretary level meetings at that time drew the attention of the US, which suggested that there can be a platform where these four democracies, they didn't actually at that time didn't say four democracies, they said where are some countries can come together and we can look at all the issues that we are facing. So that is how the idea of Quad developed, and slowly it widened as an institution of four democratic countries with good capabilities in the sea against threats like piracy and natural calamities. See, Japan, Australia, India, and US, all four countries, all four democracies. Uh, we must remember that it was in the background of tsunami. Therefore, it was felt that all these four countries, all democracies, have got excellently very good capacity as far as this management of sea is concerned. And there are two areas where the management of sea comes into consideration. One is the question of piracy, which is one of the aspects of a broad security spectrum, and natural calamities. So soon after that formation of Quad, the Quad made a very considered decision not to project itself as a security and military coalition, but remain as an institution to sort of facilitate talks between partners with common concerns and views on matters related to mainly sea and its problems. But slowly, what emerged was these four democracies should also consider exchange of views as far as Indo-Pacific is concerned. We will come to Indo-Pacific much later because the idea of Indo-Pacific did not start in 2007. In 2007, even the US still kept calling it Asia-Pacific. Now, for example, China has not yet accepted Indo-Pacific as a terminology. They still call it as Asia-Pacific, but that's a different story. But this whole idea of having some sort of a platform for Indo-Pacific did emerge from time to time. Therefore, when the idea of Quad and the idea of Indo-Pacific came together, sometime in 2017 it came together. But before that, this idea was being floated. And it was at that time that China started to view Quad as a security umbrella under the watch of the US, which actually was planning to build such an outfit and develop it as an anti-China coalition. In fact, China even called they called Quad as Asian NATO. People can say that officially China never called it Asian NATO. It was only in one of their magazines, and Global Times said it and all that. But the dividing line between China's official statements and the so-called media is very thin. There is nothing called private media in China. It is all state-held media. Therefore, whatever goes in the name of private media is also state view only. So we have to take that as a state's view. And the Chinese ambassador to Pakistan, to Bangladesh, went and told the Bangladesh foreign minister that, look, if Bangladesh wants to join Quad, then you cannot do trade with us. Which means very clearly, they not only called it Asian NATO, and many of these Chinese academicians started sort of pondering over this whole idea of Quad as an institution which has to be viewed very suspiciously. In fact, ironically, two countries, Russia and China, began to look at Quad with suspicion and categorize India with, in fact, those countries which are considered closer to the security orbit of the US. So obviously these countries, but of course they know about India's non-aligned stand. They know about India's independent foreign policy with strategic. They know all these things, but still, this was the whole situation. Now, this working group process started of the Quad, and India and Japan began to improve the working of the Quad to a very large extent. In fact, as far back as 2006, the then Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, during his visit to Tokyo, he initiated some mechanism to hold talks with like-minded countries in Asia Pacific. Remember, in that time, even the Prime Minister mentioned as Asia Pacific. And Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan at that time, he spoke in Indian Parliament on August 22, 2007. He spoke. He referred to Indo-Pacific as a confluence of the two seas and suggested the formation of a broader Asia. This was the word that he used, broader Asia, along with two other members, United States and Australia. This is 2007. The word Quad had not yet started at that time, but it was Shinzo Abe who gave these two ideas. One, the formation of broader Asia, and two, the confluence of two seas, that is the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean. In fact, this reference became viral, and it was among China and Russia began to look at this whole thing as an anti-China coalition. There is no reason why Russia should be worried about anti-China coalition, but Russia was equally worried about it. That's a different story. We should go into that at much later stage. And then the Malabar naval exercise was held in September 2007. That included US, Japan, Australia, and Singapore. And this put some sort of a seal of a confirmation on India's involvement in pursuing the Quad as a forum. India took quite a lead as far as Quad is concerned. Let us remember, Quad is not a forum that was started by the US. In fact, the whole idea of Quad emanated from what Shinzo Abe said and India's own security interest that forced India to take the whole idea of Quad much further. So we should always remember this background. In fact, over the years, China has substantially expanded its influence in Indian Ocean region. We all know, we don't have to go into the details. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization members are all part of the Chinese orbit. But the moment India and Japan came together and speak about confluence of two oceans, immediately the antennas, security antenna in China went up. So it was actually became very necessary for Quad members to conduct such programs like Malabar exercise and all those things. In fact, in between, we should not forget the fact that China could actually I mean, if I may use the word, pressurize Australia to go slow on Quad, which resulted in Australian Foreign Minister at that time, Stephen Smith was the Foreign Minister of Australia. So Stephen Smith, he publicly assured the Chinese Foreign Minister that Australia would not be proposing to have a dialogue of that nature. Dialogue of the nature of Quad, he said. But then Australian Prime Minister, at that time Kevin Rudd was there. He assumed office in 2007. He in fact went to the extent of considering China as a more important partner in bilateral trade. And therefore, if China is an important partner in bilateral trade, he was of the opinion that we would rather keep Quad a little out of our reach. So we will not be directly taking part in Quad activities unless it concerns Australia. This was something 2007, 2008. This was the situation. But then the whole situation changed slowly, and then we came to a situation where Quad began to get more views. That is mainly because there are a number of common challenges and threat perceptions that the Quad members are facing in the region, not only in the region, in general. So this whole idea of the need to work towards a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region was one of the prime motive behind these four people coming together, at least these four countries coming together. Of course, needless to say, the scale and level of threat perception of these four countries are very different. The threat perception emanating out of a hegemonic approach towards free and open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region is much less as far as US is concerned, much greater as far as Japan and India are concerned. So the whole idea of threat perception and the whole idea of security, level of security perception, they are both are very different from for all these countries. India obviously has a very high level of threat from the north and also the west, and also from the Indian Ocean in the south. Japan again has very different kind of challenges in its own backyard in Senkaku Islands. In the case of Australia, there are lesser military threats, but the challenges on trade and commerce front is no smaller if you consider the fact that its trade balance with China is passing through a very difficult phase. So compared to these three countries, the fourth member, that is the US, has a very different concerns while dealing with China, especially in their dealings with Quad. US has to protect the security interest of its allies in the region, tackle the issue of China's forays into South China Sea and the Indo-Pacific region, and also maintain a healthy balance of trade. So these concerns are all different from every different member of the Quad. But at the same time, we must admit that all these four members of the Quad are aware of different levels of challenges that each one of them are facing, and they have said it in so many times also. But it is also true that the collective challenges are even greater, are important. Actually, when we talk in terms of these collective challenges, it is there that all the Quad members have to play a very leading and important role. Actually, there is very little doubt that Quad members are both individually and collectively at the receiving end as far as China's trade in the region is concerned. China is also able to reach out to almost all the countries in the region through the BRI network. And then the debt trap is always there. So these are all the factors that these four countries will have to remember, the Quad will have to remember. Again, additionally, if you see the history of China and China's relations with other countries, after the advent of Xi Jinping, there has been an increase in China's assertiveness. which also can at times be read as aggressiveness. So the South China Sea and the Indo-Pacific both have become potential flashpoints which can be a cause of worry for the Quad members. The collective security and trade architecture are two things which have to be developed as far as Quad is concerned. And of course, we have to build a greater security and economic cooperative structure in the future. And therefore, these four countries have come together on a certain basic premise that covers the various interests. These can be classified as national interest, regional question of interest of regional imbalance, and geopolitical dynamics. So it is the national interest question that has brought these countries together. It's also the question of regional imbalance, although US is not part of the region, but it has its own interest in the region. Therefore, it has every reason to be worried about the regional imbalance and the global political dynamics. And the first and the foremost aspect of joining Quad arises out of national interest of individual country. In the case of Quad, the national interest of countries concur with those of the other in more or less bilateral relationships rather than a common compatibility. For example, there are more areas of greater convergence between the national interest of India and Japan than, say, between India and the US. For example, if you see Trump's approach to Indo-Pacific, it was to sort of avoid multilateral initiatives. Instead, the Trump administration had continuously pursued security in bilateral and what is called a millilateral, that is trilaterals and quadrilateral settings. And this pushed the private sector economic initiatives in a very large way. This unique type of Indo-Pacific rhetoric in the Trump administration was very evident in, if you see the statements made by James Mattis in 2017. In fact, it was that good thing about that James Mattis statement was it made specific reference to Indo-Pacific. From Asia-Pacific, it had come down to Indo-Pacific. So we will not go into those details, but but considering this background, what should be India's agenda? I think the foremost and the most important thing should be India has to navigate its approach towards Quad very carefully and in a much balanced manner rather than be guided by impulsive response to geopolitical changes. That is one. Two, protecting our national interests should be top on our agenda. No compromise with national interest. Third is the natural corollary of these arguments will be that New Delhi's approach towards Quad cannot be seen through the American prism. India has always maintained that the Quad is neither a regional forum nor a security architecture that seeks to make explicit moves against a particular country and with a view to limit its hegemonic ambitions. In this case, we are very clearly talking about China. So India has very categorically said, India has nowhere said that Quad is an anti-China platform. But of course, Quad is neither a trade platform nor a security architecture. So we have to define what Quad is. Quad is not another organization that will only be talking about climate change. Quad is not another organization that will only be talking about what happens to the weather forecast in the region. So Quad has to find its feet somewhere or the other, sometime or the other. So we have to make a very calculated strategic move to protect our maritime interest, both in Indian Ocean and Indo-Pacific, which includes countries on our extended neighborhood domain. Another aspect of our agenda should be, which is very important, is our approach and our maneuvers should be within the constraints. It should be, we should take into consideration the rising, not so peaceful rise of China. But at the same time, we are not making a choice. It is not either or choice. It's not a choice between aligning with the regional forces or aligning with the liberal, so-called liberal democratic West. So we are not here to make choices. We should remember very well that this is the stand that we have to take. And Quad, of course, is a very great opportunity for China to recalibrate our foreign policy, especially those aspects of the foreign policy which deal with China. Actually, we need to strengthen those aspects of our foreign policy outreach that determine our response to China's stand of strategic non-equilibrium. So if we have to tackle the issue of China's non-equilibrium strategy, we will have to tweak our foreign policy to such an extent that we are able to take advantage of our involvement in Quad, but at the same time, maintain the sort of strategic autonomy that we have been maintaining all these years. In fact, it's not very difficult because a plurality of approach has been one of the hallmarks of our foreign policy since long time. It was reflected in our stance even during the days of our engagement with non-aligned movement. Of course, non-alignment is a different category. I am not comparing the two, but it was a plurality of approach. So in the present context also, we have to continue to keep our engagement going with the current global power structure. We have to also keep in view the present realities of the situation. Now, we very clearly know that very recently, even after the withdrawal from Afghanistan, the USA floated another Quad that was a very strange Quad, and they called it Quad, surprisingly, which included Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and US. I mean, there is no logical way of analyzing these things. So US cannot be. We will have to somewhere or the other tell the US in a very diplomatic and polite language, in or any other language in which they would understand, that you cannot undermine the interest of Quad in this manner. While taking into consideration the importance of Quad that India is attaching to, while taking into consideration the importance that Japan and India have attached to Quad, US will have to take it a little more seriously. Secondly, and the most important aspect that India has to do now is that we will have to chart our own independent course somewhere or the other. We are not part of RCEP. Unfortunately, I'm one of those very few people who still feel that we should be part of RCEP because RCEP is a trade architecture for the region. Otherwise, we don't have any trade architecture as far as the region is concerned. We are not part of any multilateral trade organization, and many of these multilateral trade organizations anyway are losing steam. Therefore, it is all the more important that we will have to definitely define the nature of Quad, the engagement of Quad, but at the same time, we should also rethink whether we should institutionalize Quad to such an extent that it is able to deliver the mechanism which it is expected to. Another most important aspect of Quad will be whether we are able to take Quad to its logical conclusion or not. Our engagement with the three members, especially Australia and Japan, will have to increase. We have to have a bilateral and a trilateral grouping independent of the present Quad, wherein certain aspects of national security, certain aspects of the challenges that we are all facing as far as free and open Indo-Pacific is concerned, these will have to be discussed. So therefore, if you consider the present scenario, Quad is a very good platform. Quad will have to assert itself. Quad will have to define its area of activity, and Quad will also have to take into consideration the importance of involving India and India's challenges as far as the region is concerned. So this is the kind of situation that we are facing. I think if you have some commentaries and question answer, probably we will be able to analyze this whole idea further. I would stop here and wait for the next. Thank you.